This is ToolManageriQ, a quick and easy to learn software for managing tools, holders, and fixtures, and any related information. There's a standalone version that runs on any computer, and there's an integrated version that runs in GibbsCam with direct import and export capability. Now, it shares items on the database, so any installation that's connected to that database can make changes, and any other installations will see those changes in real time. I'm going to show you some examples in this video. Each version of ToolManageriQ has 3 main sections, and each of those has 1 or more subsections. When you enter a subsection, you'll see a list of the related items, as well as buttons for doing all of the different functions you can use. The only functions that this integrated version has that the standalone doesn't are the ones to import and export directly between ToolManageriQ and GibbsCam. My list has our standard database in it, which you can optionally load during installation or as a backup file. And to add items, you can either add them manually with this Add button, where you have to fill out all of the information yourself here, or you can use the integrated buttons to go seamlessly between ToolManageriQ and GibbsCam. Those are the functions that I'm going to demonstrate in this Tools submenu. I'm going to go ahead and import a tool into this empty list. And the tool that I'm importing has a holder applied, so it's going to be saved as an assembly of the insert and the holder. All I have to do is highlight the tool in GibbsCam and press the Import from GibbsCam button. The same dialog that you use when you're adding manually will appear, but all of the information from GibbsCam will already be populated and can be changed if you need now or later. There are also some extra things that you can do. You can see that it's generated an image, and you can always click on that to add a different image. You can add some notes. You can apply this tool as a standard tool in your library, meaning that when you're programming, you'll prefer to use that tool since you don't have to order it or wait for it. You can add the tool to a group. I'm going to go ahead and add this tool to a Lathe Tools group. You can enter an item number that generates a barcode. And you can apply supplier information, which I'm going to do in a second. When you press OK, that item will be added to the list, and anyone on that database will be able to see that item and edit it by double-clicking it. One reason for editing a tool may be to add supplier information, and that can be done by the programmer or by someone that doesn't even have GibbsCam using the standalone version. You can see that the item that I added in the integrated version is shown in the list, and I can always press the refresh button to assure that I'm seeing the latest list. In the supplier section, I can add supplier information here, like address and phone number, and then I can come and apply that supplier to a tool by double-clicking and selecting it in this list. Pressing OK will save the changes, and that way next time I have to order that tool, it's going to be easy to find out where it has to come from. When you're importing tools, you can also handle the holders separately instead of as an assembly. I'm going to start by importing this tool without a holder assigned. I'll use the same method by selecting the tool in GibbsCam and pressing the Import from GibbsCam button. Pressing OK will add that to the list, and there is no holder assigned to it. When you're dealing with the tool holders, you have to go to the tool holders subsection and select a tool that has a holder that you'd like to import. I'm going to press that same Import from GibbsCam button, and it's going to generate a solid and link the solid. Picture will be made, and I can change it by clicking it. I can change the name if I'd like, add some notes, as well as assign a holder class, which I'll do in a second. Pressing OK will add that item to the list. The holder classes section is where you can make the holder classes, and then you can apply those to the tool holders. I'm going to go ahead and make a holder class here and save it. Then I'm going to go to the Holders section, double-click to edit that holder that I just added, and add that holder class. Pressing OK will save the information. Getting items from ToolManageriQ back to GibbsCam is just as fast. Here I'm going to select my insert, and I'm going to use the Export to GibbsCam button. You can see my insert appears, and if there was a tool in its spot, and it was assigned to that spot, it would give you options to replace or add it somewhere else in the list. Now it's only an insert, so I can go to my Holders section, select that tool that I want to apply the holder to, select the holder, and export to GibbsCam here as well. You can see that the holder gets imported and put in the body bag, and also gets applied to the tool itself. Importing milling tools works the same way, and you can also add multiples at once. I'm going to highlight the remaining tools here and use the Import from GibbsCam button, and the same dialog will appear, and I can go through it for each tool, or I can use the Add All function to add them all at once, as is. I can also create a group for them, and they will all be added to that group. Now I'm naming this Milling Tools, but keep in mind that you can use any name that you'd like. I'm going to save that, press OK, and now all of my tools are in the list. The list in most of the subsections can be customized. I can right-click on the upper left to get to the column filter, where I can put a check mark beside any column I want to show, like this diameter column, for example. Anything without a check mark will not be shown in the list. You can also left-click that to select all items. Reordering columns can be done by clicking and holding on the header and dragging it and releasing where you want it to drop. And clicking on the header will also sort all the contents ascending or descending. If you're having trouble finding an item, you can right-click on a column header to apply a filter. Any items with what you enter in that column will be shown, and anything else will be omitted from the list. If you need to narrow down your search, you can add multiple filters by right-clicking additional columns and adding additional filters. At any time, you can right-click and you can clear a filter or clear all filters with these buttons here. I've been adding my tools to groups, which is another good way to sort items. Now you can add them while you're importing them, like I've shown, or you can use the grouping functionality here, which has a plus button that opens up the grouping dialog, where you can make a group. And you can also pick a group and assign tools to it, with tools being in the group, being on the right-hand side, and these buttons carrying tools from the left to the right and back. Once you're happy with the grouping, you can always pick your groups in the list here. You can see it's showing the ones that I had grouped before. All of these things also affect exporting and printing, so you can create your list, make it the way that you want it, and then create a file that you can print or import into another software. The Fixtures subsection works pretty much the same, where we have an Import from GibbsCam and an Export from GibbsCam button. Selecting the fixture in GibbsCam and pressing Import from GibbsCam will bring up the dialog with the image that was produced, a name that you can change, model has been generated and linked, notes that you can add, and the offsets can be added when you're going to export, so I'll deal with them later. Pressing OK will add that fixture to the list. Going the other way is a similar deal where we select it in ToolManageriQ and we export to GibbsCam. Now this will export into the same position that it was saved in, so that is why we have offsets that we can change. And if we put different values in there, it will offset the fixture by that amount from its standard position that it was imported at. When I press Export to GibbsCam, it imports the fixture, And now I can move it in here if I need as well, and I can apply it as a fixture. Hopefully this has shown you how easy it is to use ToolManagerIQ. Thank you for watching.